Hi, and welcome to another episode of Walk and Talk Wednesday, where I share midweek insights, inspiration, and motivation to help you get through your week. So today's subject is, do you like yourself? I hope that you've had a good week thus far, and I hope that you continue to have a good week. So recently I got into a discussion with someone who took issue with my ending tagline, which is what I always say to people, embody the habits of the person that you want to become. And I am always thinking about, when we think about we want to improve ourselves, or we want to see ourselves be better, or we want to change, or we want to grow, I always encourage people to look at quote unquote successful people who you want to be like when you grow up, or if you could have the ideal life, like who are the people that you would sort of look to inspire you to make change. So a person was arguing with me that it's like really difficult to embody the habits of people because, a lot of those people who are in the limelight, like they have the resources, they have the time, they have the conditions to live their best life, and I don't, right? Like they're sort of like, it's really hard to be healthy like a fitness person who may have chefs and personal trainers while you're working 2 jobs, you're a single parent, or you're making minimum wage. And while I can definitely see the merit of the argument, for me, what gets lost in the argument is that you are focusing on the things that you have no control over and ignoring the many variables in which you do have control, right? So we live in a world now where the access to information and people who could inspire you are everywhere, right? Like if you're living on minimum wage and want to eat healthy, there's it used to be like there's an app for that, right? There's a video for that, or there's a TikTok, or there's a thing, or there's a video for that. You want to save money and get out of debt, living on minimum wage, there's an influencer for that, right? And you could just about do a Google search for anything that you're looking for, and that information is accessible. So while I do recognize that you can't live like the person you aspire to be, you do have control over some conditions, right? And for me, I wholeheartedly believe that the process of change involves behavior change, right? And so behavior change involves engaging in the habits of the people you admire, who inspire you, and who you like. And for me, this is why I always encourage people to listen to and be inspired by productive content, not just tune into the news and divisive rhetoric, or like the gossip of who's, fighting with this one, or who's getting divorced, or who's made $1 million, like all of that stuff. Like I get it, that stuff leads to more eyeballs and clicks, and it makes us feel better. It's like junk food for the soul. But I also think that it leads to feelings of hopelessness, anxiety, and depression, right? And so, we were like going back and forth, and I'm having this dialogue with this person, and we get into like all the twists and turns of why my argument stinks. And, at some point I just had this sort of light bulb moment, and I said, I think what I like about this idea of embodying of the habits of these people who I follow and who I like, I think it's because they like themselves, right? Like now, whether it's truth or like it's a perception or it's an act and they just are pretending to be happy or like themselves or whatever the case is, it kind of doesn't matter. The question is that, when you look at them, they seem to like themselves. And so they seem to make choices where they are making choices that support this idea of them liking themselves. And if you like yourself, you're more likely to want to make choices and engage in behaviors that demonstrate the belief that you like yourself, right? You will talk kindly to yourself. You will eat foods and take care of your mind and body, because you like yourself. You will create a nice environment for yourself because you like yourself. You will engage in activities that make you happy because you like yourself. You will surround yourself with people who treat you with kindness because you treat yourself with kindness because you like yourself, right? And, outside of like the motivation, and I just have to get motivated to do this thing and I have to push through, and like motivation is a finite resource. So I'm all in on being motivated, but I also recognize that motivation is a finite resource. But this ability to like yourself is not finite, right? Like the ability to remind yourself that you like yourself will push you to do things and to go through things when things get hard, or when you failed at something, or when you're really struggling, right? And so this idea of like, okay, like this sucks and this was horrible, but you know what? But I like myself, and so like I'm just gonna try again, right? So I want you to ask yourself, do you like yourself? Loving yourself is a whole nother topic, and we could go down that rabbit hole. But this core idea of, do you like yourself? Asking yourself that. What does it mean to like oneself? Do your behaviors and your choices align with someone who likes themselves? And are there people out there who you think like themselves? Now, let me be clear. I'm a therapist, right? And so I deal with people who are dealing with depression and anxiety. Like we're all going to have dark days, right? You will get angry and you're going to yell at someone. For me, sometimes it's my kids, right? Like I will yell at someone who doesn't deserve it. I may beat myself up, but the choices that you make, the negative voices that you carry, these are the things that you want to tell yourself that at the end of the day, if I like myself, I will try to do better. It is not who you are. These voices, they are thoughts. And so you have to just tell yourself, recognize that these are thoughts and they are voices, and you are not who these voices say that you are. So ask yourself, is this the behavior of someone who likes themselves? And if it isn't, you have a roadmap in watching others and embodying some of their behaviors. Don't think about the how. Focus on the behaviors and implement the best that you can. So I will continue to lean into my tagline. And if you agree or disagree or need some inspiration, reach out. Until next time, be well and embody the habits of the person that you want to be. Take care, guys. Bye.